good to hear. I'm not doing so well. My name is William Wiley Lee. Let's pretend for a moment it is June 25th, 1905. Welcome to the day of my death. This was not the way that I planned this day to start, by the way. And you may note that by looking at my tombstone, I died at 35 years old. Does anybody here want to die before they get old? No. But not that young. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that fateful day. There's a reason that I'm wearing these fancy clothes, and I would like to see what your opinions of them are. I think it's pretty nice. It's not so nice for Oviedo weather, so I thought I'd take a vacation up north. And I thought I'd make it a little bit of a surprise for my wife. So what I did was, I didn't tell her where we were going. I didn't tell her when it was going to be. I didn't tell her in general because the woman that entered that hotel with me was not my wife. She was somebody else. I'll call her my special lady friend. Let's not get into the details. But what I called her when I walked into the Acme Hotel was Fanny Lee. Does anybody like that name? It's not so popular anymore. It means a body part to some people, under a certain age perhaps. We checked into the Acme Hotel. Does anybody like cartoons? What does Acme mean? A company that makes everything. Back then, they thought it was a little bit more of a fancy name. Anyway, we were there for a fancy weekend. We were going to have a good time over the course of 3 days. On day 3, something happened that ended my life. Some might say it was heartbreak. Others might say it was a lot of morphine. Don't take that much morphine if you don't want to die, and that's what happened to me. But I may have done it because my lady friend ran off into the distance and didn't want to be my second wife. Because she knew that I had one at home. I had 3 kids. And when everybody found out what happened, biggest scandal in the South. You do not want to die in the South on a bad news weekend. And I may know this because I am the editor of the Seminole Voice in my second life as Isaac Babcock. Anyways, let me tell you a little bit about my family. There is a reason that this hat is here. It is because my father, James, fought in the War of Northern Aggression, or between the states. You may also know it as a third name. What was it? The Civil War between everybody. But he was still an amicable man, something that he did that not many people did at that time. He sold land to black families so that they could start their own life right here in Oviedo. That was something that was a trendsetter. You may know that that kind of spread everywhere after that, so let's call my father the father of that. He was also somebody that fought with a famous man, Henry Young over there, the most famous Civil War decorated soldier in this area. Not the biggest area in the world considering that it raged throughout the South, but let's keep it nice and fancy like that. Now, there's something I wanted to tell you about me. I may have seemed straightforward so far, but there's one thing I'm going to tell you in this that is not so straightforward because I'm a little bit of a deceptive man, as you may have noted from my escapades earlier. I'm not going to tell you what it is, so you got to figure it out later. All right, so why would I go up north with this woman that was not my wife? Because I was trying to start a new life somewhere else. I was going to head up north and just disappear without my family. Now, some people might wonder why I was buried in such a fine cemetery as this, considering that's what I did. My father had an awful lot of pull in this area. Eventually ended up being Orange County Commissioner, which I think is really nice and swanky. But you might not like Orange County around here, that's okay. Anyways, one more thing about my escapade up to Jacksonville. How do you think I got there when there were no roads? Boat, maybe? Train. Did I hear mule? Yeah. I like mule, but that's not it either. There's a famous animal in Oviedo, and it's a nice way to get from one place to the other. What you do is you hitch a whole bunch of chickens together, and they can lift you into the air and take you wherever you want to go. That's something you might not have known. It might not be true, it might not be false. And that's the end of my story. Thank you very much.
Don't forget to kick his leg. Let's go meet.